All right. Everybody needs to sit on your bottom, please. Let's go. Sitting on your bottom, I see some posters. Now, I heard a lot of Yoshi, Yoshi, but I also know that there were lots and lots of students at Elmwood School who loved the book about Mars. Let's give a round of applause if you liked the book about Mars. Yes! I want to tell, absolutely not. Nope, we don't do that at Elmwood School, and really good sports don't do that anywhere. So if you've heard people booing something, then what you've heard is bad sportsmanship. What I wanted to say, what Mrs. Moriarty, who's here right by my side, did with this March Madness tournament is put together a collection of incredible books. And at the end of the tournament, one book does win, but the winners are all of us who get to read all these great books, and your teachers who get to read all these great books. So I know that many of you are hoping, put your hands down please, many of you are hoping that your book, the book you loved the most, is the winner. But I also know that Mars got here because so many kids loved that book. And Mrs. Moriarty worked with Mrs. Leibel and some others, I think, to find those good books. And she's going to, once everybody's sitting, she's going to talk about how this tournament got started and what the process was. And then we're going to have a big reveal. That's going to be lots of fun. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Moriarty, who is our ELA director in Hopkinton. Let's give her a big hand.
Thank you, Mrs. Carter. Mrs. Carter has a big part in helping us put this fun time together. So I look at lots of books over the course of the year, and I try and find great new titles that come out year to year to make sure you are reading the newest and greatest things with your teachers. Okay? So just to get things started, we're going to start maybe with a little bit of a song. Please stay seated on your bottom. Okay? And at the teacher's request, we changed it up this year. So we'll see what people think of this song this year, because I do love to read. This is called a technical difficulty. Thank you so much for being patient as we get ready. And I will reiterate, which means repeat, what Mrs. Carter said. No book today, no book is a loser, right? I have a saying that I always used in my classroom, and I still continue to this day, that a good book is a good friend, right? And you can have lots and lots and lots of good friends, and you can have lots and lots and lots of good books, right? And when you have a good friend, do you want to have just one play date with them? No, you want to have lots of play dates with them. Just like I like to reread my favorite books, right? I visit them many times. All right, let's see how we're doing. I have a question for you, and I'd like you to think. We had 8 books in this battle, but there was a theme to all of those books. And the theme of this battle was a genre. What genre were all of these books? If you can answer that, just tap your brain. What genre was every single one of these 8 books? I see a lot of head tapping. I think our brains know the genre. Okay, on the count of 3, tell me the genre. 2, 3. Easy, right? All of these books were nonfiction. And if you're a reader, you know, right? Was it a good question? Right, it was easy, because you know. So hopefully you learned a lot of new things from all of these books. Okay, when we started this battle many weeks ago, we had 8 books in this battle. Maybe you've heard of this competition in basketball. They call that the Elite Eight, right? We had Mars paired up against Mystery of the Monarchs. We had Ramayana, the story of Diwali, against Make Way for Animals. Caves and Pizza battled. And that last battle was Ablaze with Color against Yoshi. And you voted. You decided of those, Mars moved on, Make Way for Animals moved on, Pizza, and Yoshi. Right? And these were our final 4 books. Again, you all voted, right? You voted, and the 2 finalists came to Mars and so, interesting note, I just want to take a couple of seconds to give a little background on this book about Mars by Stacey McNulty. We've been doing March Madness for maybe 5 years, maybe 4 years. And one of those years, a book by this author also won. Mars is a book in a series. Do you know what a series is? Good. Stacey McNulty has written a universe series, Mars being the most recent one that she created and published. So a few years back, her Moon book was in March Madness. And guess who the winner of that year was? It was Moon that year. So hopefully you've seen that book in your classroom as well by that same author within that series. Right? All right. Well, I hope you learned lots about the red planet. There were a lot of really good facts in there. And then, in our other finalist, right, you met Yoshi. Yoshi, who was saved off the Cape of Africa by some scientists, right? And they brought her to the aquarium, right? And they saved her there. If you look at that top middle picture where the hands are holding the sea turtle, that's an actual picture of baby Yoshi when they first found her. I know. And then our second picture in the top right that shows the sea turtle swimming, that is an actual picture of Yoshi swimming at the aquarium where she lived for 20 years. And then in the bottom left-hand corner where you see those adults, and it's kind of hard to see the picture, but if you can tell, they're on a dock. There's boats in the background. They are pulling and pushing a large thing. And, yeah, guess who that thing is? That is an actual picture of right before they released Yoshi back into the ocean. So this was the day they said goodbye, right? But the great thing was, because they're scientists and technology has come so far, they put a little something special on Yoshi that didn't hurt her, right? What did they put on her? You got it. They put that tracker on her so they could follow her and make sure she was safe. And they couldn't believe the journey she took. First she went north. Then she went south. Then, look where she was, and she went across that ocean to what continent? She left Africa. Where'd she go? She went back to her home. She found her home in Australia, thousands and thousands of miles. I mean, it's an incredible story. All right, so let's get down to the final vote. Mars versus Yoshi. We had 29 classrooms that voted. 29 votes were cast. Oh, this one. If you remember last year, third graders, our vote was very close. Do you remember that last year when we voted? It was only by one vote last year was the winner. This year is a totally different story. Literally and figuratively. The winner got 26 votes. The other non-winner got 3 votes. And our March Madness winner, ready boys? My helpers, Ronan and Harry, are you ready for this? Okay, go ahead boys. We didn't do our drum roll. Easy, be in control. Easy. Yoshi is the champion. Okay, please have a seat back on your bottom. If there is a friend near you who might look a little upset right now, think about sportsmanship. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you always shake hands and say, hey, that was awesome and fun. So if you see somebody who's down now, maybe in your classroom, maybe even on the bus, they say, oh, bummer, my book didn't win. I was hoping for Mars. You can say, hey, I'm really sorry about that, but it was a really good book because it made it to the finals, right? And all of these books, and you, like Mrs. Carver said, are winners, okay? Yoshi just happened to get the most votes today, right? So congratulations to you and Yoshi, Harry and Ronan. Thank you so much for helping count the votes. They decorated our boxes. They were our grand reveal helpers. I couldn't do it without you. They counted the votes every single week. It's like I don't even have to be here. I don't even need this anymore because I have you, right? All right.
Okay, I want to, okay. Sit down. I want to thank Mrs. Smirlis's class, the boys who were here to open the boxes, all the students who counted votes every week. Mrs. Smirlis's class counted votes for us every week, collected ballots, put things in your mailboxes. So let's give a big round of applause to Mrs. Smirlis's class. Thank you for being our helpers. A big thank you to Ronan and Harry. And a really big thank you to Mrs. Moriarty. We couldn't have done it without her. Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Please listen to your teacher. I think you're packed up. Once you get back to your classroom, it's time to go home. And I think you might like the weather out there. Have a great day.